It's 6 o'clock on Wednesday, January 8th, and I'm going to declare the January Planning Commission meeting to come to order. Have a roll call, please.
Chair Somm, Vice Chair Benyon. Here. Commissioner Dahl,
Here.
Commissioner Halstead,
Here.
Commissioner Strauss-Boyd,
Here.
Commissioner Gilmer,
Here.
Commissioner Wilkins,
Here.
Planning Manager Belisky, Assistant Planner Speets, here.
Our next meeting is set for 5th of December. Could I have a show of hands of people that can make that? And we have a quorum, so we will meet next on the 5th of February. The chair will entertain a motion to approve the minutes for December 4th. So moved. So moved. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion has been moved and seconded. Any additions, corrections, deletions? Call the question. All those in favor of approving the minutes, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. The minutes are approved. And nobody for comments or concerns. No public hearing. Old, continuing business, none. New business, draft of the 2025-2026 Planning Commission Work Plan.
Thank you, commissioners. So we're here tonight to talk about the draft 2025-2026 Planning Commission Work Plan, recognizing that it will need to be amended midway due to the status of the comprehensive plan. Once we have the 2024 plan adopted and we have an implementation chapter as part of that, we'll want to update this work plan to reflect where those items are in the implementation element, as well as any changes that have kind of happened along the way. So you'll notice that this is a pretty pared down work plan, and I do apologize for my error on the suggested motion, but the city adopted Resolution 2089, which requires the Planning Commission within the last 2 months of the biennium or the first 2 months to develop a work plan. It asks us to consider statutory planning updates. So these are changes made by the legislature over the preceding few years, priorities of the city council, desires of the Planning Commission, our availability as staff or whatever on-call budget we have available to address these items, and any assignments contemplated by the Public Services Director or the Mayor's Office. So this is developed in concert between you guys and City Council. So there is still a phase where we go and discuss this with them, but wanted to get your feedback on this draft. So the primary items that we have in this work plan, really continuing to focus on finalizing the comprehensive plan and completing that periodic update during the first portion of this year. We are continuing to work with our transportation consultant to finish the mobility element, and that will let us cascade into completing the other elements. We have a number of ordinances that need to happen that are companion ordinances, changing the zoning map, a couple of tweaks to the land use table, et cetera, that need to happen with the comprehensive plan. That is separate from this group of statutory updates. We've talked to you about some of them related to 5290 and permit processing streamlining. A good chunk of that is already in effect, and so we are operating under the state law and ensuring we're consistent with both, but need to make sure that our city regulations mirror what we're doing and what's in state law, so everyone's clear on what the procedures should be. There's other components related to subdivisions, accessory dwelling units, design review, et cetera, that we need to do. For a couple of the bills, particularly the accessory dwelling units, if we are not able to complete our work and get adoption by council before the end of June, the state laws will supersede our local laws until we can complete that work. So we will be working as hard as we can to get through that before the end of June. The third item on here is construction code updates. Despite all of our best intentions, sometimes they like to move everything around, which messes up our references to section numbers. So we just need to go in and do a pretty high level cleanup to make sure that things are pointing to the correct place in the current adopted construction codes. If we have capacity, we will then move on to our annual development regulation maintenance. This is to clean up things that we found that are a gap in the code or are confusing, need a little clarification. We issued some kind of interpretation, et cetera. So these are intended to be really small cleanups that aren't huge major topics that require lots of working through them. And last as an item you should recognize from your prior work plan, which is the Midtown Countywide Growth Center designation. And we are hoping to get to that through the end of this work cycle as well. We do not currently have any advisory tasks budgeted or planned. Advisory tasks are things where we ask for your input, but you don't necessarily have a formal mandated role under the municipal code. And then we have an estimated timeline for completing these items. So I would be curious about any questions you have, any feedback you have, et cetera, recognizing that we'll probably need to come back to this mid-year and revise it anyway.
Yes.
Uh, So on the advisory tasks, you've got downtown master plan, but I don't see anything about that. It's in the table of contents, but I didn't see anything in the,
Oh,
Yeah.
well, that's because I didn't hit update table. I will correct that. Thank you.
Else had something? Well, we're just gonna have to go to the next meeting and work from there.
Yeah, typically we would take this to the joint meeting of the planning commission and city council, but we're not going to do that this year. And the reason is because the joint meeting Lauren and I talked about is going to be when we do the public hearing for the comprehensive plan. So that we can do a joint, given the scale and scope of that comprehensive plan update, that we felt it would be better to use that joint meeting as a time to have a joint public hearing on the comp plan and use the coordination around that. So we'll take the work plan through CDC and the plan and the city council for their comment and adoption and kind of work back channels that way. Not our normal process, but we really wanted to spend our joint meeting time to do the public hearing on the comprehensive plan. I don't know who's been through those joint meetings, but a lot of times we have the joint meeting, staff gives the presentation on the work plan, and there's not a lot. And so we felt that it would be better use of time for the planning commission and the city council to sit in joint hearing on the comprehensive plan, which is going to drive our work for the next decade, and really have that as a time for the public to speak to the planning commission and the city council simultaneously. It's a little different than we've done in the past, Grant.
Yes, it is.
We can certainly let you, Chair, know when that conversation is happening at main council in the event you want to attend, but I imagine it will be a pretty bare bones conversation.
You're more than welcome, Chair.
Thank you.
So I will make that correction noted by Commissioner Dahl and ahead and work our process. And again, I apologize for my error in the agenda item.
Well, for the good of the order. Correspondence,
None.
staff comments.
I do not have any, but we received a question from one of the commissioners regarding the dog park. And so I asked the expert on the status of the dog parks to come and answer that for you.
What was the question?
That was the question.
Oh, what's the status of the dog park? The city council approved the CIP project that would be, well, it's a two-part CIP project. The trees that are currently within the dog park have laminated root rot. And there is no treatment for laminated root rot, which is why we keep having blowdowns during storm events. So we're going to have to remove the existing trees, reforest the area with a different species of tree that is not susceptible to laminated root rot. So we're going through that process right now. When the work is actually going to occur, I don't have a firm date for you right now. We're going to be having a management retreat where we're going through our CIP next week to begin to identify calendaring when those things are going to happen. As part of that project, also, we're going to be putting an ADA trail throughout the dog park. So kind of using this opportunity to be able to regrade the site in spaces where we need to in order to provide a walking path that's ADA compliant as a loop through that dog park as we do the other work and do the reforesting. So that project was approved. It's on the work plan. I just don't have a firm date for you at this point.
Well, Beautified Bonney Lake is willing to contribute.
Yes, I know. Yeah, there was talk about having Beautiful Bonney Lake do the planting as part of one of their projects this year. So just don't have a firm date on when all that would occur.
We have it.
Yeah, I think we
penciled
did.
in.
Sorry.
Yes, Vice Chair Binion?
We just need to know what trees you want there because we don't want to get a tree that is not something that is like we need to know what ones are not susceptible to the root rot. So
Yeah,
if
we have to totally on the same page with you, Vice Chair Binion. That's why we need to get the plan underway so we can get the forester out here, the arborist, to help us remove the trees and identify what's going to go back in and then where the trail is going to be and get the trail graded in so that when hopefully by September, Beautified Bonney Lake can then do the planting. So
Perfect.
Definitely on the work plan. I just don't have it'll probably take 2 weeks to log it and probably a month to do the grading. So it's not one of the 8-year type long construction projects.
Good.
But I'll be meeting with the staff next week as we plan out our CIP for the next 2 years, or the next year, and we can give you more update at the next meeting for sure.
That's great. Thank you.
Thank you.
So, are they taking all the trees out, every one? Because I remember in the WSU forest, they said they had laminated root rot several years ago, and an arborist came in and they tagged.
Some of the trees in, so how do I say this? There were trees in there that had laminated root rot, and there's also areas that had not got yet infected. The problem over at the Viking Dog Park, it's pretty much throughout the whole park.
Oh, that's bad.
At least that's what the arborist report that we got back from. There a lot of them have damages. They're having root damage, and it's with all things. I can't guarantee yes that tree has it, but based on the distance between trees and the expected critical root zone, so where the roots are starting to touch, that's how it's spread, is from root to root.
Okay.
So yes, there could be one that we cut down, and if you dug up the roots, it might not have it at this day and time. We can't guarantee that, because the only way you can guarantee it for sure is to dig up and expose all the roots. So,
Are
you know.
certain species immune?
Yeah, there's big leaf maple is immune, right? And so the plan is to put back a mixed canopy for that site. So you would have both deciduous and evergreen trees in that vicinity.
But the evergreen trees are probably susceptible.
Not all evergreens. So I don't know which species aren't, but it's something specific to Doug fir, from my understanding. A genius related to Doug fir. It's not related to all evergreen type trees, from my understanding, but I'm not an arborist. That's why we're gonna bring in someone professionally so I can give you guys the exact answer of what we can and can't plan or should plan.
Thank you.
I do have one announcement if there's no more questions.
Yep.
Lauren has been officially named the Development Services Manager for the city of Bonney Lake. So she's not going anywhere. She doesn't get to throw out the I'm the interim tag anymore. So Lauren was offered and graciously accepted to be the Development Services Manager, officially taking my old position. If you weren't aware, the council voted to confirm me as the Public Services Director on the 16th of December. So I'm no longer interim. I'm in a permanent status, which allowed us to backfill my position. And now Lauren has graciously accepted, and we are thrilled to have Lauren stay on as our Development Services Manager. I could not have been happier. But I wanted to make that announcement if she was too humble to announce that herself. She has been officially offered the position and accepted. So the planning team is in full staff now, all permanent positions. So I'm thrilled with that.
Congratulations.
Yeah, congratulations,
Yes.
Lauren.
You got the director here, so if you have any other questions, fire away. I'll answer them. All right.
Commissioner comments? What's your hand? Let you speak. No comments? Motion to adjourn.
So moved?
Is there a second?
Okay, now I'll say something.
Yes.
I second it.
Yeah. All right. Motion to adjourn, moved and seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. We're adjourned. Thank you.
Bye, guys. I'll see you in February.